Thank you, Mr. President. I want to rise to speak and just say, I think one of the things that's least helpful in debate on subjects like this is scare tactics. And I think that's why the gentleman behind me who co-chairs the finance stood to object to the notion of pink slipping. It's a very scary concept for people who are employed to receive a pink slip. And so I think we need to be very careful when we talk about terminology. What is about to happen is that there will be a notification that will go out as a matter of courtesy that the governor has announced to state employees to say that because negotiations are continuing, that there is a chance that people who are employed by the state of Alaska may be in a position where their job is affected. The likelihood of that happening is very slim, and I just want to emphasize that. And so I think it's important as we talk about these very serious subjects moving forward, they're going to get more serious, not less, that we try to keep the scare tactics and the rhetoric out of what we're doing. I want to say thank you to my Senate colleagues who serve on the Finance Committee, to the co-chairman in particular, and to the members across the different regions who serve. It's a thankless task, and particularly to you, Mr. President, right now to be taking the reins in a time where we do have a deficit. You and I have served together 15 years. We have faced a challenge like this one other time together. It was not as serious. It was when we faced a price challenge, but not a volumetric challenge. And now we have the two combined. We feared that we would face this at some point, that Prudhoe Bay was a field that would have a certain life. It fed the lifeline of our state, the Trans-Alaska Pipeline, for a set period of time. We've gotten almost 4 decades out of it, and we're grateful for that. We've rolled back ACEs. We're hoping to get more time on that to feed the budget of our state, but we're in a deficit, and that deficit is approaching almost $4 billion just this year, as Madam Co-Chairwoman just said. Next year, it's approaching another almost $4 billion. So for the public that's watching, I guess what I want to say as one of the veteran members and a lifelong Alaskan and someone raising my family here is that the seriousness of the budget is what has kept us here. This isn't about members of the House or the Senate being partisan, crossing their hands and sort of saying, I'm taking my ball and going home. This is the most serious issue I have ever seen us face in 15 years. And it's serious enough that even a matter of $47 million that we're jousting over right now is one serious enough that we're really wringing our hands about whether we compromise on. Because when you look at something like funding the 2.5% cost of living increase for state employees into perpetuity, it's a very serious matter because, frankly, we don't have the money to pay for that right now. And I gave the analogy a couple of days ago to someone that it would be a little bit like in your family unit if your breadwinner, male or female, was the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. And that breadwinner had reached 4 decades of breadwinning in that family unit and had aged into retirement, and you'd done your best to plan for those years and put away money, but all the while, the needs had increased of that family unit. Your number of dependents had increased, and even though the family had sort of talked about what was going to happen for retirement, you really hadn't planned emotionally for how you were going to address that day. So here we sit, and we know we have the permanent fund, and we know we're going to have to talk about using that. And we might have to talk about taxes of some kind. We're going to have to address the fact that the Trans-Alaska Pipeline breadwinner has aged. And that's really where we are. That's the big elephant in the room. But until we get there, we're trying right now to put a budget together that will keep the state on solid footing through this fiscal year. And I just would not want us to leave today with it being said or reported that this body has done anything less than honorable, less than for the good of the people of this state, wholeheartedly. And I can tell you, every one of us wants to be home with our family. Every one of us has sacrificed to be here and to serve the great people of this state. And I thank you and the leadership, especially for the good work that you've done.